Hello and welcome to Artist Talk on Bob's Radio. My name is Rio Raymond, and we're here once again to put a scene. And I've got the Venom Berries. They look like a very young bunch of musicians from Bombay, but we're going to try and dig deeper into this ensemble of some amazing musicians. Guys, welcome to Bob's Radio and welcome on board, firstly.
Thanks
Glad
for
to be
having us,
here.
Bob.
Oh, you got to talk like a Bangalorean. Thanks for having us, Bob.
Yeah, I got to put like Bangalore on a little bit,
All right, man, quickly, what is with the name, dude? The Venom Berries. I feel that poisonous a bunch of people or what?
Mahir,
Honestly,
you wanna say it or I'll say it?
you say it.
How did we? Okay, so me and Mahir, we met back in college, like in 2017, and then in 2018 we started jamming. It was just the two of us, and then we started making covers on YouTube and all that, and then we thought maybe we need a name for ourselves. So then I think I said cranberries. I just said cranberries out of nowhere. And then Mahir said Venom. And then he's like, that I also take it.
Uh,
And then we both jinxed together, Venom Berries. And yeah, that's how our name was formed.
Forget jinxing. I think it's more of a syncing together, and that's how the name came by. The
Yeah, it
Yeah.
really is. We just put two and two together, and there it was. Like we got the Venom Berries from there on out, I think.
I was actually watching the videos, man, and this is one thing I want to ask before I get into the whole Venom Berries thing. You said you guys started doing covers. Now you did a cover of one of my favorite band, Journey. You did Anywhere You Wanted.
Oh yeah,
Okay?
too much. That song is too
That
much fun to
Steve
play
Perry
live.
voice.
Yeah.
I just want to. I mean, I'm not saying that you did a fab job. I don't want to say you did a bad job too. But what I want to say is, how hard was it to hit those notes, buddy?
I mean, it is a challenge to sing Journey, let alone because of course he has like an excellent range and everything. And I tried my best to. So I don't really when I do these covers or when I sing these songs, I don't really try to mimic the artist per se. Like if I'm doing like a Guns cover, I won't come out saying, oh, I'm gonna sound like Axl Rose. I just kind of like putting my own flair to it. And what happens is, what our fans tell us is, "Oh, bro, you sound like Axl Rose." I don't. I literally don't sound like Axl Rose. I try maybe, but like it's just my own thing. So it's just like adding my own flair and just seeing how the song is, singing the way it is, without kind of like trying to sound like Johnny or sound like Steve Perry as per se, because that's just one thing that I always had when I was singing. Is like I don't want to sound like somebody. Like I
But
don't
why do you
want to be like, oh,
do
this
like
guy.
Any Way You Wanted? Because that's not a popular song amongst a lot of the people who don't know Journey.
It
What?
is Rui's favorite song.
Oh, now since we got the entire ensemble, let's dive into the Wedding Berries. So, Mahir and Rui put together the name. When did the entire band come together?
This lineup basically is the 2019, 2020-ish lineup. For the longest time, it was Rui and me, and we had like a revolving door of members used to come and go. Because, of course, college kids, everybody wants to join a band, and then people grow up and they're like, oh shit, we can't be in a band anymore. And then after that, we met Adil in 2018, actually. The first time I saw him was at a Halloween event at Hard Rock Cafe, and he came out dressed as Tobias Ford from Ghost. I'm like, okay, this guy knows his music. And we had put out an ad for a bassist, and Adil responded saying, "Oh, I am a bassist and I know a drummer as well." So we had him and another drummer join. We had two drummers join actually. Then both of them kind of fizzled their own way out of the band, and then we put out ads again that okay, now we have a bassist, we need a drummer. So that's when Shockwave was like, hey, I play drums, like why don't we meet and jam? So I think 2019 or 2020 it was, we met at a jam room and we decided, what, let's just play whatever we want to play. And we jammed for like an hour or two and we were like, what, this is it. This is like the new lineup. And it's been like that ever since, basically. So like this is like the core lineup now.
So it's sunken pretty well. The syncing was great in terms of names. I'm sure when you guys came together with your musical crafts and your talents, it just sat really well. But then there comes in the bigger challenge after that. You jammed, yes, but then you got to write songs. Now, while you write songs, you guys are also fresh out of college. This is not like your mainstay career, right? This is a passion that you're driving. All of you guys, I'm sure, are doing pursuing other careers as well. Correct me if I'm wrong,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
How do you find time to come together and how do the first few songs come through?
I mean, a balance of, we really try because, work is work and music is music. So sometimes you can't really put two and together. But what we what I usually do is, in my free time, I'll just sit and play. I'll just doodle around the guitar. I'll try to write down some lyrics, or like, if I'm usually sometimes what happens is if I'm just practicing a few songs that we play live, I kind of something new comes out of it. And since the inception of this band, what has happened is I'll come up with a melody or a riff and I'll send it to Rui. And then Rui used to add his flair to it, and then we had like a song ready with lyrics to go.
Right.
Now, of course, since we have like a proper lineup, we just discuss everything on the group. So, we send something, we're like, hey, this is my idea. And then Shocky will come with the drum fill, Adil will come with like a bass line, and we just like, put all the elements together. And we decide, let's meet over the weekend at Jam Room, play this entire song out how it is, and then that's how our process goes when it comes to like balancing work and songwriting and all that stuff together.
You guys meet over every weekend?
So whenever the workload is less or whenever we're free, whatever weekend we grab, we can get, that's what we do.
It's
Yeah.
difficult to get all of you guys together, especially understanding the requirement in today's time where you have a hectic Monday to Friday. You have those 2 days to chill and do certain things. And then
Yeah.
it's very hard to get the band together in those 2 days. And eventually just build, it just gets procrastinated. And then finally you get to meet. So you have four minds sitting together. Two of you guys are senior. Of course, you kicked off the Venom Berries. Now, when the other two minds come in, you have like, it's just like how we watched the Bohemian Rhapsody movie, a glimpse into a rock star or a rock band life, where you have four brains working in to come out with the final product, four different ideas, four different opinions. What is the kind of amicability? Do you guys have clashes or what's it like?
I mean, fortunately, I think all of our styles mix together quite well. Like, I don't think there's been a moment where there's been a proper clash. I mean, maybe someone comes up with the idea and maybe that doesn't work in a particular context, but it's not that anyone thinks that ideas are bad. I think every idea that's come up has been great. It's just when all four of us come together and all, we can take that idea and maybe mold it into something that works for all four of us.
What do you
Yeah.
do, Adil,
Yeah.
if I may ask? Apart from playing bass?
I'm a copywriter.
I can tell, you're doing something to do with communications, just the way you answer that question.
Yeah, whole day has been full of client meetings and also I'm used to it whenever.
Shockwave, there's something about drummers, usually quiet behind the scenes, making noise with the drums, but these guys are the most naughtiest in any band. They are up to all the mischief. Now, if I were to ask you, who is the most loudest member in the band when it comes to having a bit of a tiff? When I wouldn't say a tiff is too harsh a word, but let's say an argument of sorts. Who always wants to put the point forward? The way Rui's laughing is like, is it you yourself?
No, like you mentioned loud and like you're talking to a drummer.
He is the
So yeah,
loudest.
you're
not
not
about
the
Yeah.
loudest.
So when I mean to say in an argument.
Yeah, in an argument,
I
I
don't
don't
think
know.
so.
Like I think all of us argue equally.
Yeah.
I don't even think we argue with each
Yeah.
other. We usually argue with others.
Others.
So
Yeah,
it's
but that's
not
what we do.
Oh, this is a band in unison, no?
We just come up with we discuss bunch of our times and we just come up with a solution, but it takes really like a really long time if we have an creative argument, basically. This happened, I think, when we released our earlier single. We had a creative argument about, like, should we release this or should we not release this? So it took time to, release it. And after that, go over all the marketing and promotion and all. But yeah, we kind of hit the roof with it.
Right. Now, when it comes to a band, you all like everybody's playing an instrument. There's a vocalist who plays his part. Each one's doing a thing. But then, as a final product, as a song, when it has to be mixed and mastered and produced, there's a call that is very, very important that needs to be taken by, I think, the entire band in most cases. Is that the case with you guys as well? Or is like, say, I think Rui produces all the music and masters it.
Yeah, it is obviously better to take everyone's opinions about it.
I know a lot of artists send their samples out to people, and eventually what happens is with a lot of opinions, a lot of tastes that are different, when by the time you create that final product, you actually lost the actual taste of what you had for it. So I'm guessing that's the reason I asked you guys, do you always consensually get these ideas out, or it's like, okay, I'm going to leave it to Rui to finally decide?
No, what we usually do is we'll have like, say, if we release a song or if we're done recording a song and if we're about to master and mix it or produce it, what we'll do is we'll come up with one version of it. We'll listen to it, and what we do personally or what I do personally is I listen to it in all forms. So I'll play through my earphones, I'll play through a car stereo, I'll play through a speaker. So we try to listen to it in every kind of entity as possible, and we look for small nuances that could improve. Or you know what, this part can be played like this, and then we discuss on the group. And like Shoki said, we keep discussing for a bit and keep coming up with newer versions, and then finally we decide, you know what, let's take a poll on what fits the best, and then whatever gets the max votes, that usually goes into like the final process of like getting done, mastered, mixed, and finished as a song, basically.
For anyone who's just watching this, let me tell you what Mahir in fact said of how you play the song on different devices is to actually understand the sound of a particular track. And this is what a
Yeah.
lot of indie artists do, because every device is different, the sound is different. And when you end up hearing in these different devices, you get to understand what are the things that need to be changed, or if there is something that need to change. So that's a good tip that you're given, man, Mahir. When you are a event sort of thing hires a band or an artist, what usually happens is you end up playing a lot of covers. Is that the case with you guys, or are you
Yes.
allowed to play your own comps?
How we do it is basically, we in the past we played mix sets, so we'll play all the classics, but we'll also put our originals in, because we've never had a venue specifically tell us that, hey, you can't play originals, like you have to play covers. So
Yeah.
of course, now if for example if we're doing like a Guns N' Roses tribute, then we might or might not play originals, because since it's a tribute, we basically look at what kind of audience will be then we curate the set according to that. So say if we do like a tribute to a specific band, maybe the crowd that's gonna come there doesn't want to listen to our originals, or even if they do, they would rather listen to Guns and like not our originals first. So we basically make our lists and plan our shows accordingly to that. But
That-
wherever we can, we just spam our originals everywhere, wherever we can play it.
Yeah, even with
Yeah.
tributes, we try to have like one original sitting into the just to get ourselves out there more.
You're somewhere like, cutting down the cost of the venue by paying a PPL.
I mean, there's a smarter way of doing it. We just say, oh, hey, this song was inspired by this song by JNR, so this is our original.
Yeah,
Now you listen to
that's
it. So
what I
then the
was gonna
audience is like,
Street plugins, huh?
yeah, there
Yeah.
are there's a workaround to everything.
So when you have live gigs and you still have, rock bands coming out and rocking it out, how is the reception of people? What is the kind of takeaway that it's from for them from the music that you guys play?
So we'll have like a mix of, you have your old timers that'll come up to you and tell you, oh, you remind me of me when I was your age back in this ancient year or whatever. There is your, typical old fan kind of crowd that loves these bands, but there's like a lot of new crowd, and in fact, both these crowds, like both age demographics, come up to us and they tell us, oh, we want to hear your stuff more, because you guys seem like a proper band. Like y'all don't seem like bunch of guys who show up on stage, play the covers, okay, bye, good night, see you later. Because we, of course, we like when we put on a show, we want to like छोटा सा बार है लेकिन Wembley type gig करना है हम लोग को. That's what we like doing. So the reception is really good. In fact, we played a gig back in, I think, Feb or somewhere. We played at this venue called Stables, and it was our loudest show yet.
Right.
Because when we look back at the footage, you can really hear the people singing right back to us.
Yeah.
So the reception that way is pretty good.
That is a great sign, man. Like when especially that rock still exists and the audience still rocks it out with the band. That's great positive signs. And when we come down to the music, right? Like the kind of songs that you guys, and I'm guessing Mahir, you and Rui write the songs, or you'll have a ghostwriter.
What happens is we'll share ideas across the group, and somebody will be like, hey, you know what, use this verse, or maybe you use this bass line, or this is a drum line, or this is like a riff and stuff like that. So collectively, when it comes to composing a song, all four of us do it. But when it comes to writing a song, primarily I kind of got the songwriting bug. So I'll sit sometimes, have my 2 in the morning moment where I take out my notes like aaj main gana likhega types, and like write the song, show it to them, and then they wake up the next day like, okay, cool, these lyrics are nice, let's make a melody out of it.
Mahir, he writes. Then there's me who mostly does composing, like the song structure and like what riff suits the bridge, what riff suits the verse, like that.
Right. I just heard Mahir speak, aaj mein zyada likhega. There's some swag in the way you Mumbaikars speak, huh?
Yeah.
Well, I'll come
Like
to the songs, man. Like you have Help, Can I Not Go, Back from the Dead, Without You. What is some chronology to someone's life or what?
No, even though the titles sound like they are, but there isn't any chronology. It's basically Back from the Dead was one of our earliest singles. Without You stemmed from a breakup back in 2021. Help is more towards, it's a much more mental health oriented kind of song where it's kind of descriptive of somebody who's kind of like, going crazy and needs help and all that. And Cannot Go also rides along the same lines, but it's a little bit deeper. It's gonna be that song is gonna be a part of a much bigger story that'll come out eventually.
And I have to mention this, today we don't listen to songs based on the lyrics like how we used to enjoy the music back in the day. It's more of the beats, the rhythm that is there, and it's only a 10-second game. But when you actually dive into a song and break it down, a lot of people resonate with the lyrics. And I have to tell you, with Help, you were telling a story of a lot of people, the things that they go through. And I'm not saying this is a story of mine, but it's so common that not many people are able to speak of it or even be able to be vocal about what they're going through. And if somewhere you need validation in your songwriting skills, Help is your answer to that. So well done on that song. I don't simply talk about artists just because they're playing on the radio, because somewhere I think music is just stemmed away from what actually was, at least of the way it's being consumed today. So if there are artists out there just like you guys who can make that change and make it better for the positive side of it, then why not just talk about it? Now, since we've spoken about the music, I know the most disheartening thing to do is when you put all your effort into it and it goes onto the streaming platforms, you spend money also to put onto them. And then those numbers, I don't know what's the case with you guys. What is it like for you guys?
It's I mean, it's decent. It's not what we want, but like it's still pretty, it's picked up over the years as we drop our singles. And for us, it all ties down to basically how we market the song after. So first few originals, since we were just new into the scene, we didn't know how all of this works. So we put it out, forgot about it, made a few shares, like, hey, let's do a song and all that. But then as we grew, as we evolved, we said, okay, you know what, let's try this, this, and this. And after trying one thing, we saw, okay, the numbers are really good now. So we'll stick to that and maybe add a few things more. So after that, we keep experimenting in that terms where we try out new marketing tactics. We play the song live a lot more, or we'll talk about the song more wherever we get. And then based on that, we'll see. I think as of now, we have around 300 to 350 Spotify listeners monthly, and there's a climb slowly. So it's at least heading in a good direction.
And did you guys have to spend to distribute your music as well?
So we run through the same. We distribute our music with CD Baby. So we pay their fee of whatever distributing is, and there's standard one-time fee when you release a song and all that. And the other place where we spend will be marketing the music. So once the song is out on all the platforms, we kind of try to run ads and market the song in a way. That's where most of our resources get spent.
There's one perception that a lot of people have is English rock music is not big in India. You can't do well within India. Like for example, I don't know if you heard of Girish and the Chronicles.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we love it.
Some of us believe he's born in the wrong country. Like, if it was somewhere else, he'd have just been
Oh no, I do too.
rock star. So when you look at examples like this, I've had this chat with a lot of people, English musicians in India are not able to actually wing out and spread their wings as they should because of the talent that they possess. What have you ever felt some sort of a feeling like that? Wait, we are an English rock band, and will we be able to, play this game the way it needs to be played right?
Thing is, now, especially now, like 2022 and 3 and onwards, there are, ever since we've been gigging, I've realized there are so many bands in the scene. And okay, maybe they're playing mid to small size venues, but they're packing these venues. So, you see essentially the crowd is there. But where is it when it comes to bigger venues and all that? Like you said about GATC, whenever I watch them, I always have this thought if these guys can play Wacken and these guys can play big stages, why can't we? It's a possibility. So what I think is that when it comes to English musicians here in general, I feel like a lot of indie artists kind of go in a way of modeling themselves to what's trending abroad so that they can grasp the maximum number of listeners and everything. But then where they get lost is, they lose their creativity. So every English rock or English pop or whatever English band that comes out, they kind of sound like the same thing that happened 3 years ago. They just start hop on the bandwagon. There's no creativity. There's no band that has soul per se. And that was one thing that I didn't want with TV. I said I wanted to be a big, huge band that plays these huge shows, massive energy, all that. I don't want to sound like the next Guns N' Roses. I don't want to sound like the next Green Day. I want to sound like TVB. That's what my perception is, at least for the music scene now. Now that I've been in it for like the last 5 years.
Hopefully, man, you guys scale what you need to scale and want to scale. And maybe in 10, 20 years, with all your greatness, we get to meet again and run back on the journeys that you had. But also, because you
Yes.
mentioned about the other indie artists as well, talking about how they lose their creativity. When I say for getting a song out, for example, the artist may be amazing with his vocals and songwriting skills, but then the musicality of it is one aspect of it, where you have like different elements coming together. So you got to pay artists to come and record those sessions. Then you have to pay a music producer who has to put that thing together, mix and master it for you. Then you have another cost that comes in where you need to start publishing your music onto different platforms. Once that is done, then you start promoting on the social media platforms. So just like you guys, where you guys are actually doing running three careers or three jobs. One, your regular 9 to 5 and 9 to 6. Then you have your band, and you're also doing marketing and social media, whatever, because of the music that you are creating. So these are the challenges a lot of people go through. And when this sort of a thing is going on, with the four of you coming together, it somewhere is a blessing, but also is a curse because you have to get the four of you to make music together. Is that one of the biggest challenges for you?
I don't think it's a curse at all. I'm very happy that we get to do this. I don't think it's
Yeah.
all that negative. I don't think, I mean, there is a lot of negativity that you can get by trying to make it in this industry and everything, but I don't think it's all that negative. I think that the fact that we have four musicians who have similar taste, who can get together every weekend or every other weekend and play the songs we love, write the songs we love without having to compromise on anything is a great thing in and of itself. So, like jamming together, we try our best to jam every weekend and all, but it's not only about like timings that work out. It's also the fact that four of us live quite far apart in the same city also.
Yeah.
And also, it's not like there are any jam rooms or anything at every spot in the city where you can pick one that's like perfectly suited to all of us. So sometimes I'll have to travel for like an hour and a half. Sometimes Shoki will have to travel for hour and a half. Sometimes Rui and Mahir will have to travel. So, it's all about like trying to make everything work at the same time, and that can be hard at times. But, it's always fun when it works out.
I think this was when I joined the band, I think 21 or something, 22. 21 end when I joined the band. So we, I think, kept jamming for a really long time. We jammed for a year, like regularly every weekend. We used to
Yeah.
meet and we used to, and we were, I think, 5 members. One came, one went. It was really confusing, but we basically jammed without, putting out a show before. So I think that helped us a lot to, make our own taste of music and be on the same page as a band.
Right.
Is
So,
what
like you said, you mentioned about band members coming and going. The biggest of bands have had to go through that.
Yep.
So it's your journey to go out to see what you guys can pull off as well. Just to ask you, who are your like inspirations in terms of this genre of music?
So I come from a very 80s rock background. I come from your Guns, your Motley, and stuff like that. And then of course I have a big 2000s background. Like you got Alter Bridge, you got Creed, you got Breaking Benjamin. I kind of have like a mix of those inspirations. Some punk rock, Green Day, stuff like that was included. Those are my inspirations. That's where I come from. I love huge. I'm just a big fan of the huge 80s sound, like that big rock sound, where you can hear everything it's in your face, it's direct, it's raw, there's no like, doctoring to it, so to speak. And you can really feel it, like, call it driving on the highway, windows down, fast car kind of music. But that's my inspiration. Those are my inspirations, basically.
When I got into music, like my dad, he also listened to a lot of rock music. So he introduced me to Guns N' Roses, and then from there on, I just wanted to play a guitar. So yeah, I picked up a guitar and I started learning, and here we are right now.
You've been slashing it well. What about Shockwave?
So mainly, my inspirations come from like I listen to a lot of prog metal bands recently, which are new in the game, like Falling in Reverse. I've listened to a lot of old bands like GNR, Motley Crue, everything, Megadeth, Pantera. But like lately, I've been listening to a lot of new stuff which is coming out in prog metal.
That like Mahir and Rui, like when I met them and all, my image of them was like these are the Guns N' Roses guys, like these guys are perfect like 80s glam rock, Guns N' Roses, Motley Crue and all. But I'm like a hardcore Metallica fan. Like Metallica is my favorite of all time. Metallica is why I'm doing what I'm doing right now. And it's very opposite sort of versions of the same period in time. and I love Metallica. I love Dream Theater. Dream Theater is my second favorite band. I basically I love bands that can do rock sort of music without getting too harsh or heavy. And that's why I love like 90s Metallica, which a lot of people don't, but I love 90s Metallica. I love Dream Theater because the vocals really blend together well with everything else. I love Lifehouse, I love John Mayer. So I like listening to a lot of different things, but Metallica is like my biggest inspiration. And I think why we work so well together is because you have like Mahir and Rui who love GNR, Motley Crue. You have Shoki who loves like modern metal, and then there's me who loves Metallica, Dream Theater, that sort of stuff.
Like you have a huge
Yeah.
ensemble of taste that comes together, and that shows in your music. All four tracks sound different. They don't have a similar genre of rock. I don't know if you guys agree with me. Am I correct?
No, we do, we
Yeah.
really do, we really do.
I agree.
You are.
Yeah.
Like you have a choice, guys, because you guys.
No, it's true because it's so. I always tell this. I always say this to everybody. It's like, you take a blender, you take four of our tastes and you put in the blender, you blend it, and that's what we are basically. We're like, we're not classic rock, we're not metal, we're not hard rock, we're not punk rock. We're like a mix of everything. And I think when it comes to songwriting, that's the most fun part because you can have like a very classic rock oriented riff that comes with a very metal oriented bass line, and the drums are going
Right.
crazy and the solos are going crazy, and it just sounds right. Like it doesn't sound wrong. It just everything just falls into place.
Stuff that when we're writing or jamming, stuff that Mahir or Rui will come up with that I could never think of because I don't think in that way. And the stuff Shoki will do that I would never think of or Mahir would never think of. And this stuff that I could bring in that they would never think of. Because we're all from different backgrounds and everything. So we sort of like, fit together like slices of a pizza really well.
I mean, that's where the music again is coming together of instruments and different creative minds. And here you guys are doing just that. What is like the future? What do you guys wish to do with the Venom Berries? What is your ultimate aim?
To have a goal or something like that. So basically now we want to put out more original music so that, we can get access into these big festivals and build our portfolio so that it's easier to get into the scene like 5 years from now.
I think more than that, just at least my personal goal is that if I'm just, walking down the street or even if we're playing a show and someone comes up to us and tells us that our songs did something for them, I think that's like one of the biggest compliments. Because now recently also it's been happening slowly that there's this little small community that's been built up that every time we play, we know the people now, we know the faces, and they will come up to us and they'll sing our songs back to us and they will tell us that they want to hear this song of ours. And that's just, I feel, more special than anything else if we are creating music as a musician.
I think that is what the kind of validation every musician looks for, because you create for an audience to listen to, the masses to listen to you. And when they reciprocate with how they feel and respond to you, I don't think there's a bigger high than that for any musician. Now, when it comes to a rock band, there are a lot of perceptions in terms of the crowd that engages the most, or the crowd that wants to engage with a certain band member the most. Who has the biggest chick following?
I don't think there is. At least I haven't seen any of that of some sorts. Everybody thinks that it's usually the lead singer or the lead guitarist or whatever. But personally, I'm in a relationship for the last 2 years, so I kind of stray away from that anyway. Like once the show is and I just run to my significant other. You've seen me at shows, other pretty much know. So, like at least other than the two of us, we kind of run in our directions. But that perception has been kind of wrong because
He's this because she's watching, he's lying. I'm telling you. Don't listen.
Because I have a lot of rock band friends, and as much as the idea is that it's the vocalist and the lead guitarist, it's usually the drummer that's pulling the scenes at the end.
Yeah, true, 100%.
Is
Yeah,
it?
he takes a shot off also
I
sometimes.
mean, hey, take
Yeah.
your shot off. Prove it.
What?
Is that the case,
Is
Shockley?
gonna be.
Do you get a lot of the female attention? Do you get most of the female attention?
I mean, in a way, you would say.
Oh,
He's trying to be
like-
modest.
what a modest,
No, I'm not. Yeah.
what a modest guy, dude.
No. It
But the
depends.
muscles are flexed out already.
it's not only that he's an incredible drummer, but like he has a reputation for breaking every drum kit that he sets his hands on. So it's not just his skill that people are enjoying. People are enjoying parts of the cymbal flying out, bits of the stick flying out, and the whole stage starts rumbling and everything. So like when he's on the stage, it's like a whole new scene. He's really fun to watch because we'll be on stage and you start playing the drums and the ground starts shaking. And then we have to kind of
I
tell him,
would-
bhai, let's thoda Aram se, because we don't want to pay for a drum kit if you want over.
You're in that zone, you're tuned in, and it's difficult to get off of it. Because I know a lot of my drummer friends or musician friends who are when in the zone, like say, I don't know if you heard of the band called Lagori. Have you guys heard of Lagori?
I haven't
Yeah.
personally.
So these guys are Bangalore-based band, an independent pop rock band. So the vocalist reminds me of Bruce Dickinson, man. This bug will climb up speaker towers. He'll suddenly take the mic stand and flip it out and he'll hit the ceiling, and then everybody will go and knock him on his head. What the fuck are you even doing? So do you guys have something like that happens? Like, some of the mischievous things just for the act, to just be a little more amplified to the crowd?
So I'll give you an incident. Basically, we play this venue called Stables a lot, and the setup is the drums are behind a shield, a glass shield. But when he's on the kit, you can see that shield basically shaking to a point when it's going to rupture. So I kind of have to like look at him and be like, you know what, hey, maybe try, like Adil plays in front of him. So I'm like, hey, maybe try not to kill Adil by rupturing the glass and sending a few pieces towards him. But we've definitely had ideas of, what, let's just climb on a speaker or something. Oh, Ru,
Yeah,
you want to
another-
talk about that college story where you jumped and you took the entire setup with you?
Oh.
And
Like,
Kyle said, tell us, man.
it was a small like college festivals, and like we are the only band playing college band. So like we were playing Highway to Hell on stage,
Mhm.
and my guitar was connected to the processor. So then I think it was a solo or the chorus. I don't remember what. I just jumped on stage. I jumped off stage, and then the processor came following.
Oh shit.
You forgot the big little PA speaker that also followed you for like a good
Oh,
5 minutes.
a destructive guitarist, I think.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, but my guitars are still in good condition, so I don't know.
Yeah, I
Not
don't
that
think we've reached that
destructive.
level of smashing guitars yet.
Yeah, I don't want to smash guitars. Nope, not yet.
When you talk about also the crowd that comes to the gigs, most of the time it's our friends and like people that follow you, and it's usually the people that love the genre of the music, right? You also did mention that you have a Gen Z crowd as well that follows your music. Now, what are the kind of requests that the crowds, like the fans, tell you in terms of what can you do? Like everybody's got something to say about whatever that's happening, and as a fan, there's a lot more that comes from a place of love and adoration for you, that they would come and tell you a lot more in terms of, what I want. It'd be great if you guys can do this of sorts. So, what is the best advice, or what is the best compliment you guys have ever got?
So this one time we were playing. I think it was at Stables only, and I think it was the end of the set, and I was playing Sweet Child of Mine, and I was so energetic. There was a couple sitting adjacent to me, and they were just looking at me since the start. And then, like in the break, they came to me, and then they really appreciated me. And then they asked me for the age, like for my age. And when I told them like I'm 22 years old, they were shocked. They thought I am like old enough to like I have an experience of 10 years into drumming or something like that. So yeah, that's one of the probably, and they like wish me a lot of good luck and all for the future. Yeah, that's probably one of the best compliments I've gotten on stage.
Sweet, man.
Yeah.
Anybody else likes to take over?
Me personally, like people keep coming to me and they say like, "Damn, you have moves on stage, damn." So like yeah, like I mostly like try to be more of a showman, like on stage, and just move around, do some like behind the head stuff.
Uh-huh.
Uh,
I mean, it's difficult to pinpoint like individual instances because now it's been a few years since we've been playing, but every single time we play any show and every single time we come off stage, even if there's just one person in the crowd who comes up and just tells me that they love the show and they love your playing and you played well and everything, it just touches the heart. And it's also when the other musicians who are more technically proficient than you and you respect them so much, and when they come up to you and tell you that you killed it, then there's some sort of validation that you get that what I'm doing is right, and that's just the best.
And finally, a vocalist.
Yeah, I mean, same thing with Adil only. So we have like a lot of being in the scene for so long. We basically befriended a lot of these bands and these acts and these musicians that have been there for like longer than us, like 10 years, 15 years, etc., whatever. And I'd say like we just played Rock Rate Festival recently, which was our biggest show yet. And we were opening for bands like Ravi Iyer and the Rat Quartet and Black and Flavor and the F Band and these guys.
And Chandresh
And
Kurwa also.
Chandresh Kurwa, like these guys. And now of course when you enter such a space and you're sitting there in soundcheck watching these other artists play, and they show off their flair and how good they are, and like you can see like these guys know their stuff. To be an opening act and come off stage, and then of course the reception from the audience is great, like the whole we love your music and stuff like that is great, but when somebody of that caliber comes up to us and they tell us, I remember specifically these, all of them were like, you guys are the future of rock and roll. That was like the pinnacle for me, where these musicians that I look up to, that I learn from, that I go to their shows and see what do they do, and that I respect so much. Just like Adil said, when they come up to us and tell us, keep doing what you're doing amazing. I think that's where, okay, you know what? I think we've made it. Like if it's come to this point, then I think we're going in a positive
The
direction.
reason I asked you guys this is because a lot of musicians and bands get compliments, but when it comes to like say young band like yours who get validation from from senior musicians, the second thing is when you start talking about how old you are, and people tend to judge you. But when they look at the craft and the talent, then they go like, "Wow, that is something for that."
Yeah.
Right? So these are things are what that actually make a band that is young strive a little more harder and better and to go on to achieve what they want to achieve. Now, while you also look about the positives of it, you're in a city which is the helm of media, right? And massive competition. Yes, you're in a niche, but it's a massive competition to put your head out there and be that band that is right on the top of the mountain. How is the competition in terms of your field over there?
So, I mean, yeah, there is competition, but like comparatively, probably less. So it's easier to get once you get the ball rolling, like once you get the venues and all, yet like tours and all. So it's easier, but the challenge is to get that first show, to get that momentum to start, and then you can pull it off easily, I think. Oh yeah.
And when you talk about what you guys like, when you start getting that momentum, you also mention about putting out your content out there, which is music, of course. Now you have 4 songs. A lot of bands and musicians put out one song after another, and then eventually put an album together and put it out there. For you guys, what's the next journey in terms of putting your music out there?
Of course, we want to delve into eventually making albums, making EPs, writing more songs as we could, because the long time vision for this band is not to be some, oh, we're just like a nice big cover band. We want to be like a band, like an actual entity that makes original music and plays on stage and stuff like that. That's always been the dream before TVB's inception and after TVB's inception, where if we go, because you can play, if you play at iRock and Lollapalooza, you can't play Sweet Child of Mine. Like, sure, people will listen to that, but it will be a better use of your resources and your time if you play original music to such a huge crowd on such a huge stage. So that would be our end goal when it comes to like, writing more music, hey, at least this year and like the years to follow, let's keep writing more music. Let's come out with more music. Let's keep the creative flow juices flowing and, show the audience that, this is who we are outside of our cover sets. Like, this is our kind of music. Listen to it, you'll enjoy it in that way.
Sweet. Now, you did speak about how you guys come together at a great consensus. We're going to put that to test now. In terms of how consensually you come to agreement, right? I'm going to throw out certain instruments or artists who play certain instruments, and you get to decide consensually who you guys together think is your favorite as a band.
Right.
Okay. Let's start with drummer.
I would choose Luke not because he's my favorite or not because I am following him since a long time, but he's probably most versatile drummers out there who can, play different genres like really, really well. So he started with metal. Uh, I I think I forgot the name of the band. It was like really death metal kind of shit. And then he went into prog metal. Then he switched to K-pop. Then he went to, I don't know if you have heard the band called Icy Stars and something like that. Star Set, Icy Stars. So he went to that kind of thing. And now he's a drumming for, Falling in Rivers. So like there's a lot of versatility. He also played a lot of punk rock
Let's
covers.
say TVB has to choose one drummer as a consensual answer. What would it be? Who would it be?
In
I'll
that
go with
sense, I
Luke
think
Hall
I'll go with
because
Luke
that's who
Holland.
our drummer looks at. So if our drummer looks at him, then we gotta
Yeah,
And that is
Luke Holland.
Luke
Luke
Hall.
Holland.
Colin.
Luke
What
Hall.
about
I keep calling him Luke Hall.
what about bassy? TVB's favorite bass guitarist.
I'll say it at the same time.
Give me the
Sure.
Okay, so 3, 2, 1. Duff.
Rob Trujillo. Oh,
Damn.
and Duff.
Wow. We
two in sync. Two have no idea what that is. So that's halfway through. What about Shockwave and Rui?
What,
Uh,
bassist? There's this band, The Warning, and like they are all three sisters, and the bassist is amazing.
I need you
Maybe
guys
can
to
be.
come to consensus. Do you agree with what Adil's saying?
Yes.
Duff? Yeah,
Yeah.
Duff.
With
Duff.
hesitation?
No, without hesitation. I mean, I grew up on Guns, so like Duff
Rui
has
has
been my all
hesitation.
time.
Rui has-
All
Okay.
time, all time.
What about lead guitarist?
I'd say Sinister Gates from Avenged Sevenfold.
I would agree with Rui on that one, honestly,
Yeah,
Me
same.
because I
too.
kind of look like him. I don't play like him, but I look like him a little bit.
Yeah.
So that's a plus.
This is like, you're finally getting a hang of the game. As you go on, we'll just agree with what a certain person of that particular specialty says. Yes, we'll go ahead. All right. Now, your favorite vocalist as a band.
Like a vocalist that would come close to my Bruce Dickinson.
Even I was gonna say Bruce Dickinson. I don't think anyone compares to Bruce Dickinson when it comes to just all-round vocals and just
I was
power.
gonna say, in terms of, I mean, I'm a big Axl Rose guy, not gonna lie, but lately
Miles-
I think Sebastian Bach and Miles Kennedy have been climbing up the rest. So I mean, I'm gonna go with Miles Kennedy right now, just because I've been listening to a lot of Alter Bridge and like other stuff of it.
Shockwave. Shock us with your answer.
Miles Kennedy, I told you. Miles Kennedy.
Yours is? Kennedy.
Miles Kennedy.
Miles Kennedy. So we got two
Yeah.
Miles Kennedy, we got two Bruce Dickinson. We're at a tie at the, towards the end of this particular, what do you say, consensuality test. Do you all want to like shift this side, either way, shift this way? What's it going to be?
Nah, I feel choose another vocalist only. Not these two. Go with Axl Rose.
Yeah, let's just go with Axl
Yeah.
Rose.
Axl Rose.
Yeah, I know.
So it's a final answer.
See, this is how decisions are made.
Sorry?
This is how we make decisions. Like everyone talks about it, and then we're like, "Oh, but it's okay. This works for all of us, and we'll do."
And that's
Yeah.
why, hence I'm putting it a test, because then suddenly I'll come in and say, listen, you have to come to a consensus. Like someone has to put you all together. Hey, listen, guys, focus.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we've got like all four sorted. But if I know you all have different bands and different inspirations. But if you were to finally decide on one band, not because you want to be sounding like them or get inspired by them, but one band that resonates together for all of you.
I feel it is Hailstorm.
That also actually.
Mahir is just saying that also for everything. So he just wants to make sure everything is consensual.
The thing is, a lot of Hailstorm sounds like a lot of Guns, and it sounds like a lot of like different kind of things. So I mean, I would go with Guns personally. I would definitely go with Guns because
If you ask, like, choose one band out of all the bands as four of us, I think it's Guns.
Should we go with that? All
yeah, we
Guns
should go with
Blazing,
Guns.
Guns N' Roses.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't all guns blazing. It took a bit of blank bullets too. Finally, all I got. But the reason, I tend to put this to test also is because somewhere, I keep telling a lot of my artists as well that, for me, what validation for me to start Bob's Radio is, like, say for karaoke, we all sing songs of the 80s and 90s or the latest numbers. But the day when, one of my artists who was on Bob's Radio, their songs are being sung on karaoke, that is like somewhere I feel like I've done something right. And in your case, when someone asks about the band that you guys love, and if somebody says the Venom Berries, which is validation for you guys too. So I'm sure you guys look at stuff like this, and I hope manifest this, that someday you guys go on to hit it big and create the kind of ruckus that you do with the music someday. Thank you so much, guys, for coming by and having a chat. And thank you for getting on board eventually, because we, as a sucker for rock music and the 80s music, it's hard to get artists to come by. Like, I don't know if you heard of About Us from Northeast. They're one of our first, I mean, Parikrama and Northeast, About Us and Northeast were the first few rock artists we've had. And to get another band in this genre, there's nothing more validating that this particular style of music is still rocking it out and rocking it out good. So keep the music alive, keep the genre alive. Thank you so much once again. And I'm going to wish you guys only the best. And we hope to see some more music coming from you guys in time.
Thank you, boss.
Definitely.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Thanks for having us. That
Keep the horns
really means a
out.
lot.
Yeah, on the
What's
Just
up?
rock it out. All the best. Take care.
Vibes Radio. The heartbeat of Bangalore.